Hello everyone, my name is Kayla and I am a part of Zenfolio's customer support team. Just here to help you guys on YouTube live today, get your questions answered right on the spot. So if you have any questions, do feel free to go ahead and throw them out in the chat. It should be to the right on your screen in YouTube. So yes, please let us know where you're from. If you have any questions, we are happy to help today. Definitely want to get everything you have answered. Now today, before we answer your questions live though, we are going to be talking about the order details page. So like how to understand your profits, what information you can gather on this page, just things like that. So let's get started. First, to access an order that has not been approved or was just recently approved, you'll want to go to that blue shopping area on your dashboard. And there's a little icon there. Let me show you that. Should be right here. So I'm going to click on that and go into the order. Just click the order number here and we can take a look at that now. So I guess the main thing that I want to start out with here is just the order details in general. So that is over here. If you click the show details button, it will expand this and you can look at exactly how everything is broken down here. So it'll have all the numbers so you can understand your profit. Now, if you have an order that is a little bit older or quite old and you still need to access it, you can get this information still. You'll just want to go to the reports and payouts area of your account, which is under selling up here. Reports and payouts is there. So from there you just go into the selling report, find the order number and open it up. But whenever you get here, you'll want to open up the order details and check it out. So now that the order is up, let's first take a look at these order details. This is where the profit is broken down for you. If you click show details next to the net profit, you can look at the full order. So this customer spent $7.79 in total, and there was no discount, no sales tax, nothing like that. It was pretty plain and simple. But this is not the true take-home amount. That's important to note. The cost of the products and the shipping costs actually go to the lab, and that makes your gross profit, whatever's left from that, and the service fee after that goes, which in this case is just 2 pennies, so that is great fun. But this is just a silly little order. Hopefully you're making more profit than just 2 pennies on your order, but just as a test order, 2 pennies. So your net profit is what you really want to look at. In this case, mine is a little bit silly, but that's just how it worked out here. You want to look at this as your take-home amount. So the cost of making the products and the shipping will go to the lab. The service fee will go to Zenfolio. And just one thing to note is that the service fee will always be 7% as of right now. So that'll be 7% of the selling cost of the item itself. So if you have a coupon on the order that marks it down 50%, they're only going to pay 7% on 50% off. So that's just one thing to note. And from there, the cost of the products and shipping will vary depending on the lab, depending on what's ordered. So that's just one other thing to note too. Some of the labs like MPICs, they do have a fixed shipping amount, so you'll see the same number often, but some of them don't. So it will just kind of depend, and you'll want to make sure you're understanding exactly like what you're offering to your customers when you set up your price list so that you know exactly what to expect when you look at this order details page. So the most important thing I always like to point out, just besides the actual math here, is the adjust cropping button. So if you have order approval turned on, you can adjust the cropping on an order before it is actually sent through. Even if you're not sure if you need to adjust it, that is totally fine. I just recommend double checking that your customer made good decisions, that they understood what they were doing, and checking it out. So I can change up a few other things on this page too, like the paper type, that would be here, color correction, things like that. And you may see some different options if you're at the premium or the pro account level. but I believe the advanced and premium business accounts will allow you to see most of these options, but they will vary a little bit from account level to account level. Now, with that adjust cropping button, in the tiny thumbnail, it is a little bit hard to see exactly where the crop will get cut off. So I click adjust cropping here, and I can just double check that the customer has, again, just made the best decisions possible. If it looks like they did to me, then, I'll just send it through. But if for some reason they didn't, I can switch it up a little bit. Here it looks totally fine. Just a little sliver of each edge is getting cut off. But let's say that these people's heads were getting cut into, like they chose something like this. I've seen some crazy stuff like that. You can always reset the crop and then just do whatever you need to do to make it look a little bit better. So that's just something I recommend doing before it actually gets sent through, just to double check. From here, there are a ton of other things you can do in this area, but again, those are just the main ones you're going to want to work with. And for the final bit, we'll want to scroll down into the shipping area, and that's at the very bottom here. So this is where you'll find the customer's shipping address, their email, the shipping method they chose. There is a super helpful video tutorial on this on our channel outlining how to calculate how long an order will take to get to the customer. So if I can get Cheryl to throw a link out to that, that would be excellent. But at this point, I just want to, make sure that my customer has chosen the appropriate shipping method to get it to themselves in time if they mentioned a deadline. Even for myself, I know like Mother's Day is coming up, and if they just ordered this thinking it's only going to take 2 days to get to them, I might want to say like, hey, was this a Mother's Day gift? Just double check. And potentially do overnight shipping for them if need be. Maybe even charge them outside of Zenfolio to make that happen. So whatever you need to do, however you need to do it, I would just recommend checking out this area too and make sure all their information is correct. Double check everything. So from here, there is a processing time on these orders, and it's important to note that this is not outlined on this page. Just because it really depends on the products they're ordering and nothing is set in stone. So if you're seeing that the shipping will get it there in time, but it might be a little iffy, I really would check the processing time on each of those items as outlined in that video that Cheryl's going to send out. So just something to note. And that's pretty much it. The biggest takeaway really is just understanding how the profits work, making sure the customer made good choices and purchased what they intended. And double checking that shipping information is always key. One thing I also wanted to point out is actually away from this page, though, in the price list area. When you're actually setting your prices, it can be super important here to look at that service fee, make sure that you are making enough profit off of this where you will be happy when your customer places an order. My thing is I just look at it like they're only going to be ordering one of anything, just in case. Because if they order just wallets, I really don't want to be making just like 30 cents off of an order. So I've got my profits set where I'm making a good, healthy amount. I'm going to be happy if that's even the only thing they order. It might be a tiny order, but I'll be still making a pretty good amount off of it. So I do recommend checking that out, making sure you are making a profit. So when that order details page comes in, you're not like, oh God, I'm not making what I thought I was. And anytime you plan on offering a coupon, I also recommend double checking this area, making sure that your selling price, whatever comes off of that, is still going to be a good amount to cover the base price and the service fee. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I know it can get a little complicated when you're looking at all the numbers and how to get everything set up. So just let us know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. But otherwise, let's see what we've got going on in chat here. Okay. So it looks like we have Roxanne with us today. Nice to see you again, Roxanne. Doing great. I'm actually in the middle of a move, so a little bit stressful on my end right now. I went and toured a house on my lunch break, but I'm here. Everything's great. Nice to see you, home phone. Aloha to you too. And Cheryl did send out that link, so do be sure to check that out. I guess I'll take an email question if you guys are good for now. Even if you don't have a super in-depth like question, literally the simplest, silliest thing, totally fine to ask. There are no stupid questions in the Zenfolio universe, I can assure you. So I guess I'll take an email question in the meantime. This user says, I would like to leave special instructions for my clients on my contact page. Is there a way to do this? There is. So on the contact page, there is a way for you to add, it's just like a little text box basically that you can add some additional information into. And to get there, let me move my head out of the way here. Whoop, still not out of the way. There we go. You would want to go to settings and then account. And once this loads, there is a contact information section over here on the left. And when that loads, down at the bottom, there is this other section. So I have this filled in already. It just says, please feel free to contact me about literally anything. Look forward to hearing from you. It can be something that simple, or maybe you could just point out like, hey, this is the number to call at night. This is the number to call during the day. Whatever's going to work, whatever you need to say, this is the place to do it. And now if I go into my website and take a look, that information should show up on the contact page. It's going to think about it here. There we go. So I'll open up the contact page. And so it's just this little blurb right here. And literally you can put anything there and it will show up. So that's pretty much that. All right. Looks like 27 Media Group is joining us. I think he said his name was Mark last time. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to remember. But it's nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Do let us know if you have any questions. But otherwise, I will keep going here with email questions. So this user says, I do not want to have to approve orders for all of my clients, only some. Is there a way to customize the approval level per client? So unfortunately there's not. I know that would be pretty nice. So if you do have any feedback about that, definitely let us know. But approval is just kind of for everyone or no one. The best thing I can recommend is maybe having a duplicate price list that doesn't have the approval needed on it, and assigning that where appropriate, and then assigning the one that does require it where appropriate. They can literally be the exact same price list with that one little detail change, and that's all that matters. It will still work the way you want it to. So approval can be controlled on the price list by a price list basis. So if you do have a price list for special clients who just, are used to ordering from you, don't really make mistakes, you can disable approval and could just duplicate the price list. So in case anyone is wondering where that order approval setting is, that is actually going to be in the price list. Let me get back there. So we'll go to selling and price lists. When it loads, we will open up one of them. And it's going to be in the price list settings, actually. It's a little bit hidden because it's not on this main page that opens up. And again, we're thinking. There we go. So price list settings. And it should be the very first option at the top here. It says, I will approve orders before sending for fulfillment. You can check whether you want to include digital downloads in that or not. And you can also just choose to approve all, whatever you need to do. So that's where that option is at. And you would just want to save whenever you were done. So it's pretty straightforward. And like I said, you can duplicate that price list if need be. That's back on the selling price list area. There's just a duplicate button over on the right side of the price list. Right there. And you can click that and it'll just name it whatever it's named and then copy at the end of it. You can rename that to say like no approval required or something like that, because the customer is not going to see the name of the price list. So it can be super helpful to have like one version of each. All right, so where are we at now? Roxanne said she is also moving on Wednesday. That is really funny. Yeah, stressful times. I'm pretty young and haven't accumulated a ton of stuff, but I keep surprising myself every time I go to pack something new. It's great fun. But best of luck to you during your move, Roxanne. I know it can be super stressful. All right, so I'll take another email question. This user says, what is the purpose of a participant list in an event, and do I always have to have one? So for those of you who don't know, we do have an event feature that is for advanced account users only. You won't see it at the pro level, unfortunately. And if this is something you're interested in, definitely let us know and we can talk you through an upgrade. But events will basically allow you to go into a gallery, but not see all of the images in it. You just type in a code that's assigned to you and you see only your images. So it's really good for like school and sports photography, like races where someone has a bib number. You can just make that number that they have to type in their bib number. It takes them straight to the images of them only, so they don't have to sort through everything. Especially when you have like 3,000 images, it can be a little difficult. So for an open event, you do not need a participant list. That would probably be something like a race where you don't really care if anyone sees the images, if they just like type in a random bib number. It's not going to hurt anything. But for a restricted event, that one's going to be like a password protected event. That is going to require a participant list to be used because that's what allows you to, I guess, link the contact to the photo. And it is also required to set up the passcode for the restricted events too. So we do have a really awesome playlist on that actually on YouTube. I think it's about 5 videos. If I can get Cheryl to send out the link to the playlist for restricted events, that would be awesome. That'll walk you through everything you need to do if you do need to have a participant list. But if you don't, and the privacy is not really a concern in this case, you can absolutely use an open event. You don't have to have a participant list in that case. All right. Let's see. Oh, wow. We're talking about moving still. I got us off on a tangent. Beer boxes are free. That is true. I know when my boyfriend's family was moving, we had a bunch of liquor boxes, and I'm sure we looked a little crazy to the neighbors. But they are free, and it helps. So whatever you need. Let's see. Roxanne said, perhaps post only the crop and price list associated together. That is really true. You may want to narrow down your price list to specific crops, like aspect ratios as well, like Roxanne mentioned. So that's a good tip too. And let's see. Mark asked, how do you do that? I'm not sure if you're asking Roxanne or if you're asking me, but I think what Roxanne is talking about is just making a price list based on aspect ratio and assigning it to individual photos, which is possible. So if that is what she's referring to, we can go into that a little bit. Yep. I'll go into the photo section here. And if I have a price list for like a 4:6 image and I have a price list for a 5:7 aspect ratio, I can assign them to the individual photos in a gallery. That's going to be done in the gallery itself in the photo section. And I can click on an image here and assign a price list over here on the right. So I currently don't have any price lists that are specific to a aspect ratio, but let's say this one was that 4:6, that one's the 5:7. I can go in here and select it for each image depending on how the crop is set up. In general for mine, I just try to keep it as straightforward as possible and crop to 1 aspect ratio. But if you have some older images where you were shooting on a different camera, you know, sometimes you may actually need to go in and do that. So I hope that helps with that. Let me see. Maybe we can get some more information here. Okay. So explain what Robert has as a tip for posting images and associating the price list accordingly, and no need to worry about crops. Right, so exactly what I just said. And there is a old live stream on that, I think, so I won't go into too much detail about it. But there might be a tutorial video too, but definitely we've done it in a live stream before. So I'd recommend going back and checking that out. It looks like Mark was asking about the race numbers though. So again, you will not see this event feature if you're not at the advanced account level. So just to make it very, very clear, you will need to upgrade for that feature if you are not at the advanced or premium business level. But once you do have that up and ready to go, we can go into the client galleries area here. And I will create a new event. And let's just say this is race in Raleigh. So it'll create my event for me. And the very first thing it's going to ask me is whether I want it to be open or restricted with a passcode. Open would probably be your best option for a race, but again, you do have that restricted option. If I just go with open though, I don't necessarily have to upload a participant CSV, and there are ways around this. Once you just like upload the images, you just keyword it. It all just kind of works out a little bit easier than having to go that restricted route. So I hope that helps a little bit, but basically when you choose that open one, it just kind of works straightforward. And real quick, I can show you a demo of this since I don't have one in this actual account. Our white gold photography page has a event demo on it, both for open and restricted if you want to check that out. And this is just our little test page for where we come up with some neat stuff to show. So if I go to events and then open event, again, this is going to be not password protected, but it is still going to require me to enter that keyword. But the thing with this is that the keyword would be something like someone's name. So, you know, let's assume these are all co-workers and Zach and Aaron are both going to know each other's name and be able to access this, each other's images in that case. Which if you don't want to happen, I probably would recommend the restricted event. But I'll type in Zach and it'll take me directly to his images here. I can click them to enlarge them. And then I'm good to go. So normally if you have a buying option, they'd be able to buy from here as well, but that's just not on this gallery. Now if I go to a restricted event, this is going to have passwords, passcodes, I guess. So I'll get a sample passcode from this page real quick. And we'll do Zach again. So his passcode kind of like aligns with him. The participant CSV would kind of align those up. So now I'll come back here, enter the code, and I should be taken right to those images of Zach. Eventually. My computer hates me, guys. I'm so sorry. I feel like every live stream is a struggle. Well, anyway, it'll eventually take you there. It's really just thinking about it. So I hope that answers your question about like the race numbers and the searching. The participant CSV stuff, again, we've gone over that in a couple other live streams, and Cheryl did just send out a link to that, so I would recommend checking there, because Robert goes into a great amount of detail about it, and I don't have a sample one in my account right now, unfortunately, but it should definitely help. Alright, so let me close out all of this. Okay, so I think we had some other email questions here. Let's see. So this person says, is there a limit to how many participants I can have on my participant list? There's not really a limit per se, but I will say that the longer that list gets, the more complicated it can get, especially when you're trying to send out a mass email. Sometimes that can be limited. So, and just for speeding things along, when you send that email, you might see things going a little sluggish if you have like 10,000 people on there. So we recommend keeping it to about 2,000 just for better performance. And if you have more than that, maybe just consider breaking it up into a couple events. Like if you have a day 1, you could use day 1, then day 2, day 3. That would be my recommendation anyway, but 2,000 is usually about right. All right. So next question. It's actually from Mark. He says, does that generate automatically? The participant list, I'm guessing, is what you're asking about. It does not. The participant list does have to be uploaded kind of as is. What I've done at my own events is just have people plug in their information, their name and email address on a spreadsheet, so I can just kind of assign a random code to it later. And it makes everything super easy. The keywords will not automatically assign to the gallery either. Basically what you need to do is when you go into the event, you click on an image and say like, okay, this bib number, like racer number 30, is in the keywords, so that it aligns with the CSV, and then the passcode will kind of like allow them to see the ones for 32. You can also just make the passcode 32, and that way they would just type in their bib number and be done. But again, Cheryl has that link for us, and Robert goes into a lot of detail there. So I would check out that playlist just to get the most information you can about it. Okay, so next email question. I assigned a cover thumbnail for a group, but it's still not showing. How can I get it to show? So there's a couple things here with applying a cover thumbnail. Let's take a look at that. We'll go back into the photo section of the account. And let's say that I want the first image in this gallery to be the cover thumbnail for my entire client galleries group. That is possible. So when I hover over this and click the down arrow, I can do select as cover thumbnail and choose client galleries. That is one thing that kind of trips people up sometimes, is they'll just click assign without realizing it's assigned to the gallery itself. If you want to assign it to a group, you will want to make sure that the actual group is selected here. So I can assign it. The other thing is that that image does have to be public. So what I would recommend doing is just checking to see that this is set to not be hidden from visitors. If that's set to hide from visitors, it will not show that cover thumbnail. So I'm going to leave that on show. And the other thing I think is that if the gallery is set to private, like if I chose one from the Sally and Mark one, it would not show. And I don't believe there's any way around that. Now these locked ones, there's also another catch here. Once I go into this gallery, over on the right is gallery access. I also need to make sure that the images in this gallery will not be protected, and that I don't want to apply cover thumbnail protection. So there are several caveats there, and you will want to make sure you go through each of them carefully. Honestly, the best thing you can do in my experience is just go into the client galleries area, or I guess in this case your all photographs group, and just preview it and log out of your account and preview it just to make sure everything's showing where it should be. Because if it is hidden, it will just show stars in its place. Sometimes it won't even show the galleries at all if they're private. Like if I preview this right now, the Sally and Mark one will not show up to customers. So it is a extensive process making sure that it is good to go, but the easiest thing you can do is just test it and make sure that it works. So that would be what I would recommend. Now my next question here, this person says, I'm creating my first price list and I'm curious if you can just do a quick breakdown of how to get all of this set up. So yes, there is a lot to getting your selling section of your site set up in the beginning, but let's look at it. In the selling portion of your account, I just like to click on the word selling there just to look at my overall selling section and see what all is possible there. So whenever that wants to load. We're still thinking about it. There we go. So at the top, you will have a price list. And just to break down how this works, for those of you who might be a little newer, the price list is assigned to a gallery. And the gallery will allow the person to purchase images with items on that price list. So if you have a 4x6 on the price list, they can then choose the images they want and order them as a 4x6 print. They will be shipped to them directly in most cases unless you have the self-fulfilled products available. So products from our integrated vendors, they're just from our partner labs. They will just take care of the order, ship it directly to them. It'll be good to go. Digital products is just a digital download that you pay for. It is possible to offer a free one, but you want to be careful with that. If you can charge for it, then do. Those can be added to the price list as well after you set them up. You can also create packages of any combination of these three, just one or two things. It does really not matter. You can set up packages however you want. And then there's the self-fulfilled option, which doesn't necessarily have to be items that you are fulfilling. If you have a lab you prefer to use that we're not partnered with, you can always add products that they offer to a price list. And whenever someone places an order for those items, they'll pay you through Zenfolio. And you can turn around and put in an order to that lab and have it fulfilled directly through someone else. So those are just your main options there. And we'll go into the price list to look at how to build this here. Let me close that. So I do have a couple here, but we can just create a completely blank one over on the right. Important thing to note is if you click new price list there, it will actually pre-fill with some of the items that Zenfolio recommends. They're kind of like the top dollar items. I would recommend just starting from scratch though for your very first one, just to get a sense of what all is available. So with this price list, I'll name it Kayla's Test. And let's see. Just thinking long and hard. One day it might load for us. There we go. Okay. So I will go to add products to begin. And when I click this, it's going to show me all products from all vendors ever, which can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. I like to click this and just narrow it down a little bit. Particularly in this area, I like to narrow it down because if someone chooses, let's say, a print from MPix, a aluminum art print from Zenfolio US, and a photo float, they will get hit with 3 shipping charges. So it can be a little bit hard to choose those products and narrow them down, but it's really important, I think. I usually try to narrow it down to just 2 labs, or just give them a heads up in the shopping cart that, hey, you might be hit with a couple shipping options here. So just to begin here, MPix, I'll just choose them. And we're assuming I've already done my research on MPix and know exactly what I want to do. So I'll go to prints just to start and go through the print sizes I want to offer. And again, earlier we were mentioning maybe doing a price list by aspect ratio. So this could be just your overall price list that has all of your options, or it can be one that matches your aspect ratio you shoot to. I definitely recommend the latter, but you can do whatever you want to because your customers can crop into the images a little bit just to get it right if need be. But here I will just check off a few options like the 4x6, 5x7, 8x10. We'll do a couple larger ones too. And then when I'm ready, I'll just click Add Selected Products. I don't think you can see it on my screen, but there is a little Add Selected Products button right here. So I will click that. And now I have all of those items on my price list. From here, I might go back in and say, I want to add some canvases next. So I'll go to Home Decor, still have MPix selected, go to Canvas Prints, and add some sizes there too. And again, this is totally up to you. Whatever you want to offer does not matter. So I'll add those as well. And you'll see here that I'm kind of building some categories. The prints I can go into first and kind of set my pricing on them. We were looking at this a little bit earlier, but the main gist here is that you set your selling price, the service fee comes out and goes to Zenfolio, the base price comes out and goes to the lab, and you're left with profit. This does not include shipping. The shipping will just go to the lab automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. This is just what you want to charge for that item. So another thing to note is that the prices that pop up here are not necessarily recommendations. If you're in New York City or in Los Angeles, bigger cities with a higher dollar amount, I guess, you might be wanting to charge a little bit more than this. If you're someone in the middle of nowhere, you don't have a ton of customers yet, maybe you want to start a little smaller, and that's okay. So honestly, do your research to the best of your abilities and just kind of try to come up with something that works for you. If this does work for you, then go for it. But you can always change these numbers. Like I might make this $5, and you'll see that my service fee goes up and my profit goes up as well. So you can set these however you need to. And once you have all of those set up, you're pretty much good to go. There are some little tips in here I could recommend, like checking out the pricing, so you can just set up a pricing formula to follow. And the little gear icon here will actually show you some different options for what your customer can choose and can't choose. You can set it so the same thing happens on all orders. Let them choose different options, whatever you need to do there. So, and then there's also the price list settings where the order approval settings are. There's the finishing mounting area, and that's where you'll choose frames. You can click the little question mark next to any of these items to see exactly what it's going to look like, exactly how thick the frame is, the color of it, everything you need to know. So I would definitely recommend checking that out too. You can also set your prices on those areas the exact same way you did on the other side too. And down at the very bottom are the quick shop products. I will move my head out of the way for this one. The quick shop products are what are going to show up on the right side of your screen when someone clicks to enlarge the image. So you can have, I typically like to highlight the items that I really want to draw attention to. So my high dollar items tend to be the ones I want to draw attention to. I might do my albums and canvases here. Sometimes though, if I have a customer that I know just quickly needs to order, I'll just throw in the items I think they're actually going to purchase on there too. Maybe just do only prints here. You can also add every single product that you have on your price list here. It really does not matter. But I do recommend checking this out and getting this kind of set up and squared away. So I might add just a couple of these and a couple of these. Totally up to you what you want, and you can reorder those if need be. Whenever you're done, you can click save or go ahead and assign it to some galleries as well if you're just ready to sell them. And again, you cannot really see it, but there they are. Once you have them assigned, you're pretty much good to go. From there, the customer will be able to order and you're all set. So I hope that helps with that question. Looks like we're still good in chat, but feel free to throw some out, guys. Next email question. This person says, I'm trying to learn more about the selling features, and I was wondering if there's a way to track how many downloads when I allow them for free. So free is a little bit different from selling, just to be clear. The free downloads can be tracked though. If the person who downloads the original images for free is logged into a client account. So if they check out as, if they're not logged in, it won't necessarily be trackable. So the information is shown on the image, and if they are not logged in, it will just say anonymous. Now, if you're just wanting to know a general number, you can go into the photo section. Let me go there real quick. And in the photo section, you can actually go into a gallery. So let's go into my bridals one here. And I can select an individual image if I want to just kind of test how many downloads there are. Over here on the right, there is a little eye in a circle. And when I click that, it'll say original downloads. This one has not been downloaded 0 times, good to go. But you might see a couple on this eventually. And I can also just unselect any image, go to it as a gallery as a whole. This will tell me, I guess, how many visitors in general I've had to the gallery. So in this case, on my test account, I don't have any, but hopefully you guys do. All right. Let's see. So this next question, it says, ooh, sorry, I got all out of whack here. There we go. Okay. So I'm looking to do a promotional discount for my clients from a road race. How does a shipping discount work? Does that come out of my profit? So yes, if you discount the shipping cost that the lab charges, it will come out of your profit. And if that takes the profit into a negative amount, your account will be charged. So typically what I recommend is making sure that if you are going to be offering free shipping, that you have set up your prices so that they will cover that free shipping. Sometimes what I do also is just make it for the dollar amount on like standard shipping, which I know through MPix is fixed, which makes it a little bit easier. You just say $4.25 off the order so that it's not like 100% of whatever method they choose. So that's one thing you can do to kind of narrow it down a little bit. But yes, unfortunately, if the shipping cost does take the profit into the negative amount, it will charge your account immediately. So it's just one thing to remember. You want to make sure that your profit on your order is going to be big enough. And my honest recommendation is it could be possible that someone would just come into your account and just order wallets, and then they get free shipping. Off of the wallets, you're probably only going to have like maybe $5 to $10. So if someone chooses priority shipping and they're getting that for free, it could throw your account balance into the negative there. So you want to be careful with that. What I would recommend is when creating the coupon, you say free shipping after you spend X amount, so that if they just order one thing, it's not going to break your bank. So I'll occasionally say like spend 50, get free shipping, something like that. And all of my customers know that I offer free shipping after they spend 150. I tell them that at the photo shoot, just up front, like, this is what I do, because if they're spending that much, I want them to have free overnight shipping. But honestly, I think if you just want to do it as a one-time promotional thing, it might be good to have a spend this much amount before you give the discount, so that you can avoid the negative profit. All right. I think we're still good here. So this person says, can multiple coupons be used at checkout? Unfortunately not. Only a single coupon can be used, but your client can use a coupon and a gift certificate together. So I've seen it where someone has tried to have a free shipping coupon and then a dollar amount off coupon. And sometimes people feel like they need to use them together. And I've seen people do completely separate orders to get both of those things, but sometimes it can just be a little overwhelming to the client, even still, just to keep track of 2 coupons. And then, we just don't offer it just for the easiness of it. But you can offer a gift certificate. If they have like a print credit or something, you can say, okay, here, you gave me $100, here's your $100 print credit. And then if they need the free shipping or something, you can make that a coupon later. And those two then can be combined. So I definitely recommend looking at it as coupon and gift certificate together instead of 2 coupons together. All right. This user says, I have a problem with my homepage images. They appear zoomed in and grainy, not like the original. Help. So it almost sounds like you have the full screen homepage layout. So let me show you guys what this user is looking at under the website and customize website area here. Let's see. Oops. Browser only. There we go. All right. So in the customize website view, I currently have a grid on here, but there are layouts that are full screen. And these full screen ones will actually crop into the images a little bit. And we scale the image to fill the screen so that the image will always match the width of the browser window. There won't be any white space or anything like that. So it will cause a huge crop on a portrait image because it then has to become a vertical. So if I do this option with the full screen here, just to show you guys, I think I might have some vertical ones in my homepage gallery. Yeah, so this is a vertical image, and you see how it's a little bit like grainy and not so pretty, unfortunately. What I would recommend is adding some white space to the sides of this if need be, or just going with only vertical images, because it's always going to look a little bit meh, honestly. And it's not really the fault of Zenfolio in my understanding. It's just that, it's going to be a vertical image, so it has to crop a little bit. I would recommend just doing vertical here more than likely. Alternatively, if you're someone who is using this full screen, there are layouts available, the classic layouts, if you scroll down just a little bit. They do have this white space around it, but you can change the size of this so that there's not much white space and still have a pretty big slideshow on your homepage. So what I can do is go to edit here. When it loads, I'll make it transparent and larger. So under set layout, I have it set to exact dimensions, 1,000 pixels wide. If I just do the automatic one, I think it's like 940. So I kind of like to make it closer to 1,000. And from there, I will update it, and then my images will show nice, big, awesome, perfect. And in my experience, this works a lot better than the full screen if you are having vertical images that you want to show. So that's just my advice. Totally up to you what you want to do, though. There are many methods for getting it to look nice, but if you are set on using those vertical images, that classic layout may work better for you. All right. So next, this person says, While I'm testing out the client checkout process, I get the following message. This order will be fulfilled after you have made payment arrangements with my business name. Please contact my business name if you have any questions. I would like for my clients to be able to purchase directly from my site and have the payment go through automatically. So it sounds like you're offering self-fulfilled products, which is totally fine. And we do have the setting that you can change for this. So if we go back into the dashboard, you can go over to settings and then selling. And then there is a collecting payments area where you can set up the payment for self-fulfilled products to go through. And this is typically done through PayPal. If you were at the advanced account level, though, you can offer a, oh my gosh, what is that called? I'm blanking. Merchant account. The word is right there. So a merchant account is available so that the person can use a credit card on the screen and not have to leave, which they do kind of have to do with PayPal. PayPal will kind of reroute them over to PayPal where there's a totally separate screen. So I would recommend looking at your options there. The merchant account, again, is only available at the advanced account level, though. So this just means that you will be taking payment directly from your clients regularly. The message you're currently seeing just means you'll collect it outside of Zenfolio. We don't collect anything. They're just placing the order through your website. So with that order, you don't necessarily have to cancel it. You could just send them a PayPal invoice, get them to send in a check, something like that. But definitely keeping track of the order all in one place in your Zenfolio account can be kind of helpful. So that's what I would recommend, but totally up to you what you want to do. All right. Still no questions, guys. Y'all are quiet today. Let me know if you have any questions literally about anything. I'm happy to answer. Let's see. This person says, how do I allow free video downloads? So this one is a little bit tricky because it's different from the photos download. Let me move myself. The photos section, you can allow downloading of photos just very quickly by going to the gallery access area, downloading tab, and then you can allow download, but that does not include videos. So it's important to note that if you do have this on, there is another area you'll need to allow video downloads in. And I don't have a video in this account to show you, but I can show you where that setting is at least. I'll go into my bridals gallery here. What I'll do is open that up in customize website view. And let's see, whenever that loads, I'll wait on it. There we go. So now I can go to options at the top of the page. I can uncheck the same as default settings, and on the page elements tab there's a little checkbox that says videos make largest allowed sizes downloadable. So if I check that, it will allow me to download the video at whatever size I have made available. And you can limit the size that is available as well. That's back in that gallery access section under the photo protection tab. So I would definitely recommend limiting that if you don't want them to just take it and run with your original file size. I would probably limit that a little bit if you're going to be offering it for free, but totally up to you. And it is also possible to charge for these if you'd like. That's back in the digital products area. So let's take a look at that too. So that's under selling. And we'll go to digital products. And I'll just add a new product. One of the very first things it'll ask is whether this is going to be for a photo or video. So you can charge for video downloads too if you'd prefer. And again, it's up to you what you want to do, what's going to work for your business. But honestly, I'd like to make a profit off of it personally. So whatever you need to do there. All right. So this person says, when I click on an image in a gallery, it takes me to the Quick Shop page. Is it possible to hide the slideshow thumbnails by default? Is it possible to change the background color for that same page so that it matches the theme on the rest of my site instead of showing up as a gray color on the background? So unfortunately, the thumbnails cannot be hidden. But if your background color is anywhere on a spectrum from like black to white, you can. but you can't make it like neon purple, unfortunately. Just for best viewing, we do limit it to the black to white color spectrum with like grays and stuff, just because it's very neutral, and that's what's going to look best behind most photos. I can show you guys what this user is asking about, though, in case you're curious. Let me just open up my weddings gallery here. So with this, I think I have a price list assigned to this. Let me double check, because I do need to have one. When a price list is assigned to a gallery, when the image is clicked, it will open that quick shop area. And the settings can be adjusted a little bit, but not fully. Not like a gallery anyway, the gallery thumbnails page. So let's see. Okay, I do need to assign a price list to this really quick to test. So let's just go with portraits. And we'll save that. I'll refresh this page here. So now when someone clicks on the image, they will be taken to the quick shop area. And we can get there in the back end in the customized website view by clicking Gallery Thumbnails at the top and going to Gallery Quick Shop. And when this loads, the best place to just see all of the options at once is just going to Options at the top of the page. So right up here. And we'll go to the Quick Shop tab. So this is where you can change that background color. Again, it's pretty much anywhere on the spectrum from white to black, but personally, I wouldn't really recommend having any color other than that anyway, so it kind of works out. There are certain things you can change up here to kind of customize it to your theme, like your logo that you're using. You could change that color of just this logo if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be, I guess, the logo for your whole site. And that would be done in the site settings in the bottom left, in the logos tab, and the Quick Shop logo area. So you could make that have a little pop of color, whatever color you're using. And for me, I'm using that grayish blue on my site, so my Go to Cart button actually has that too. So personally, I like to keep this page very, very minimal. On my own website, I don't even have Quick Shop products. And this little thumbnail thing that they were mentioning, it can be hidden by clicking on it, but it will not hide by default. But if you do have any suggestions about things we could change up here, definitely let us know. We're always wanting to update our shopping experience so that it works best for all users. So if you have any suggestions, let us know. Alright guys, we have about maybe 5-ish more minutes left. So let me know if you have any last minute questions, and otherwise I'll just keep answering email questions. Alright, so this user says, I just received the email for a discount on the copyright protection plan. My question is, how does this differ from the copywriting that has been a part of my account already? So for those of you who don't know, we are offering a new service this week. It's the copyright protection service, and it's done through a third party, Pixtrack, but it is available in your Zenfolio account. And the copyright protection service scans pages on the web to look for illegal usage of it. And if you see that someone's taken your image and put it on their own website or something, maybe they're just using it to advertise a product, depending on the usage, you can proceed with the legal process to recover money. So it can really help. You'll definitely want to check out the Help Center article on that. But the copyright text on your webpage is just lists who you are and states that you own the website. So it's a little bit different. The copyright protection plan is really based on making sure those images are not being stolen across the web. And it does do a really good job of locating those images. We've had a couple people in the office test it already, and they have found a couple things they could file lawsuits for. So it's always great fun. But it's a really helpful service, in all honesty, that I would really recommend checking out. Alright. This user says, I am trying to find out how to make photo captions and shooting conditions visible for visitors. So it sounds like you're trying to do this in a gallery, I guess, with the caption. Let me go back to my gallery photos page here. In a gallery, the caption is only going to be visible when you click on the image. If you don't have a price list assigned, it's going to go to this page that's loading now. That is the gallery photos page. If you do have a price list assigned, it's going to go to the quick shop page we were just on. but only these 2 pages can show the caption. So depending on what you need to do, the options at the top will allow you to set the caption to show, and you can set the alignment here as well. But again, no price list, gallery photos, price list, gallery quick shop. But this is where you will allow that caption to show. And then with the shooting conditions, it's a little bit different. If you do want to share your EXIF information, that's also controlled in the page elements here. That is not available on the layout I'm using, but you can also do it on the photo overlays and set the full EXIF over the image, so that when someone hovers over the image, there's a little eye in the corner and they can see all the shooting conditions. So either way, but you would need to change your layout in some cases to get the EXIF on the actual page without hovering. And that's going to work only on the gallery photos page for the EXIF information. At this time, I don't think we have a way to show EXIF on the gallery quick shop page, because it's meant to be a little bit more minimal. If that's really important to you, definitely let us know though, because we want to make sure it's functioning for the best of everyone's abilities. So let's see. I think I can take one more here. This person says, I have a customer who received prints that are in unacceptable quality. How can this be resolved? So if this was ordered from one of our partner labs, they have a print quality guarantee. You'll definitely want to reach out to us at Zenfolio first if you did order it through Zenfolio or your customer did. In most cases, the lab will replace it. Sometimes though, like with MPICs, they do have a color correction option, and if you turn that off, they're just going to print what is given to them. In some cases like that, it might be a little tricky getting it corrected for you. But 9 times out of 10, they will be as helpful as possible and do whatever they can to get it right. Even if it's not their fault, I've seen it where like a postal person has like bent items to shove it in a mailbox and it's ruined them, or things have been left out in the rain. They'll do anything they can to get that fixed for you. So anytime you have a problem, just email support@zenfolio.com. All right, very last question, guys. No matter what size image I use on my full page layout on my homepage, it gets cut off. I'm using only horizontals. So this does sound again like the issue we saw from before with the full screen homepage. Again, we do scale and crop those images to match the available space on a monitor. So the browser window, like when I click and drag it, it's always going to show a full image. And the cropping will also change. So if your images don't match the aspect ratio of a standard monitor, it probably will crop in a little bit more than you'd like. You can choose a different homepage besides the full screen though, and do one of those classic ones like we talked about. All right, well, I guess that was about it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Roxanne, I wish you the best of luck on your move. I know I'm going to struggle through mine too. We're just in the beginning stages. The very last thing I just wanted to do today was kind of show you guys the North Carolina office. I'm going to go to a view where the camera's a little bit bigger. This is our North Carolina office. It's very boring. It is an office, but we really love it here. We have some like orange little accents and fun things, and we all like to have fun here. So just wanted to show you guys. I hope everyone has a really great weekend, and take care. We'll talk to you soon.